Welcome back, class. This video is going to discuss your entrance ticket questions and answers for today. So please pay close attention so you know how to complete that assignment. So your first question for your entrance ticket is, what is a focal point? A focal point is the subject or space that demands the viewer's attention. So that's the answer to the first question. And while you're writing that down or while you're soaking in that definition, I have two images here on the screen that help create a focal point. I'm going to focus more heavily on the image on the right as it applies specifically to your project. But just to hint at the one on the left, you have this man, this figure who's standing on these stilts, looking through his binoculars over top of some maze-like type structure. And the reason he is our focal point, he is the object that draws our attention. We look immediately at him when you look at the picture because he's the one thing that stands out from everything else. He is the biggest, he's placed in the center, and he's completely different, just stands out from the rest of the picture. So that's kind of a generic focal point example, but the image on the far right shows the use of color and focal point in a way that would more directly relate to your project itself. So the way that works is if you look very carefully, you can see all the colors radiating in towards the center. And if you follow, get my mouse, if you follow all the way towards the center, the colors point directly to right about here. And then this one guy who's in yellow, mostly all yellow, who's the only character of that solid color in the picture, I think that this man right here is the focal point of the piece because of the placement in the center, also his color, he's the only one who's solid yellow, and that all the colors converge to that point. They all meet at that point. So when I look at this picture, if I were creating this and submitting this for my assignment, I would immediately think that the emotion would be something like anxiety or stress or fear. This person is surrounded by a bunch of people. You can see all the figures around here. And they're not just walking, they almost look like they're running or maybe even a power walk or something. But I get the feeling with all these different emotions coming off of him in this rhythmic way that he might be feeling stressed or anxious or even fearful that he wants to get out of that crowd, almost like social anxiety. And that is a great example of a very clear emotion that would need no explanation. It's pretty obvious. I'm hoping that your interpretation of the painting is similar to mine. I'm not saying that mine is correct, but it should be somewhere along those lines when trying to pull an emotion from it. Obviously, this wouldn't represent happiness and joy. This looks like there's a lot more going on in this picture than that. All right, so I'm going to move forward to the last slide. And our follow-up question is, how can an artist use a focal point to express a mood or a meaning? And we kind of already looked at that in the last picture with the figure surrounded by the large crowd, where they used the color itself directed or drew our attention right to the person. And that's very similar to this image right here with this female figure, and all the colors are radiating or converging right to her left eye, which is our right. So her left eye is our focal point, and the artist is using color to draw us there, and I immediately think that maybe she knows something that we don't, because you've probably heard the phrase that the eye is the window to the soul. So she definitely has a look like she knows something, and the colors coming out of her eye might show the knowledge that she has within. So that's one example of using a focal point to show a certain mood. So I get the mood of or the feeling of intrigue, like I want to know what she knows, or that she's very happy that she knows something we don't, kind of thing. And the image on the far right, this is a little harder to point out, but the largest image that's in the center, it's larger than any of the other designs on the figure. I see this sun, this big kind of like flower sun-like shape here. That's the focal point. And then everything else, all these other random designs and patterns kind of go around the figure here as well, but my eye always goes right back here. So I wonder if that focal point is being used to tell us something about the culture, the vibrance of this person's culture and knowledge and history. And I get that because you have everything radiating from that one point, and it just looks like a lot of different cultural designs and patterns, symbols that might mean something to that person. And that's just my interpretation. It could be wrong. But to basically answer that question, artists use focal points to express a specific mood or meaning by making the focal point the key subject or the key meaning. So you want to use color or line details to draw your eye to that specific subject to help clarify the meaning. Because if I was, for example, trying to show the emotion of anger and I had my focal point of someone smiling and being happy, that wouldn't make too much sense because we want the viewer to look directly to the subject that shows the anger. All right, so that is today's kind of introduction for your entrance ticket. Please complete your entrance ticket below once you're done this video, and then please continue working on your projects and submitting your progress for today so you can get your 3 points. All right, everyone, I would look forward to seeing your progress, and please message me if you have any questions. Okay, bye.